Welcome back to Art. I hope you're having a great week and are ready to get creative. We are in week 3 of our landscapes unit. And so far in our landscape unit, you have learned about many famous artists and modern artists of landscapes who use many kinds of materials. Also, you have learned about how artists make their landscapes look like they have distance, looking 3D on the page. So far, you should have a landscape plan, which should be already turned in on Google Classroom, including your sketch of your landscape and the photo or photos that you're using as a reference to help you. I am still working on looking through all your plans and giving you helpful feedback as comments in your slides. I want to make sure that I give helpful feedback to everyone, so I am still working on that. Meanwhile, this week, you are going to mainly do 2 things. First of all, choosing the art material that you want for your final landscape. And secondly, practicing what we call value shading as a way to help your landscape look more realistic. So, the value shading that we're going to practice this week is an art skill. While on the other hand, the final landscape project that you will make next week is a WOW project. So, what is the difference between a practice and a WOW project? Let's talk a little bit about this before we start. What is a WOW project? A WOW project is a wonderful original work of art. In this unit, it will be your final landscape project. Take a minute to read the checklist for a WOW project. For your artwork to be a WOW project, you'll need to put your best effort. You want this to be something you are proud of. Also, it has to be original. That's what the O in WOW stands for. It has to include unique ideas that you made yourself. It should be meaningful to you. Your WOW project also shows that you have learned something and grown as an artist. For this unit, it should show that you've learned how to make a landscape with distance and value shading. WOW projects also include getting feedback during your creative process. This could be feedback from a friend, a teacher, or another adult. And for our landscape unit, I will be giving you feedback in your landscape plan slides. Feedback helps make sure that you're meeting your goals. Also, you're going to be writing an artist statement for your WOW projects. So you can start thinking about what you'd like to say about the landscape that you're planning. But we won't write the artist statement until after you finish your artwork. Last, your WOW project is an artwork that you would be happy to present to our school community. Wow, it sounds like a WOW project is pretty awesome. It also sounds like it takes some practice and patience to finish. This week, we will be doing some practice. In art, skills practice is not the same as a WOW project. It can be a time to experiment or try something new. You still put your best effort, but it wouldn't be something that you'd want to put in an art show, for example. You also might not be using your original ideas in a skills practice. That's not the purpose of practicing a skill. But after you have learned the art skill, you'll be able to use it in a creative way in a WOW project. All right, this week we're going to practice value shading. Why is value shading an important skill? Well, that's a great question. In fact, some of you asked this question on our first landscape lesson. We'll use this painting by Georgia O'Keeffe to look for values. Values in art means how light or dark something is on a scale or gradient of white to black. These value scales show the regular color in the middle of the scale. Adding white makes the lighter tints. Adding black makes the darker shades. How many of the tints and shades on this value scale can you find in Georgia's Red Mountain? I see 8. Can you identify where each tint and shade is in the mountain, except for the black and the darkest shade? Now let's compare the Red Mountain to the other mountains. The Red Mountain has more tints and shades, and that makes it look more 3D and realistic. Now that you know that values help make the landscape realistic and 3D, let's look at Monet's landscape to know where to put your tints and shades. Which parts of his landscape have more values? Last week we learned that the close areas have more details and textures, while the far areas look smaller and have less details. Can values help to show this important difference? Yes. Consider how many values, tints, and shades are in these close trees compared to how many values are in the far away one. Well, only 2. To practice creating values, you're going to make value scales this week. You can do your scales with color, creating tints and shades like this example. If you're thinking that you want to use colored pencils or paint for your WOW project, this would be good for you to practice. Or you can also make them like these examples with only a pencil or Sharpie if you're wanting a more monochrome or one color only effect. Now, see the next video for how to make your value scales.